You know, family is not all. This is my Bill Cosby impersonation. You know, family is not always about blood. It's about relationships, respect, love, and admiration for one another. And when I tell you that the hashtag family of baseball show or hashtag family of baseball extra frame podcast is just that, that is what it is. That was my terrible impersonation of Bill Cosby. But who am I? I am Willie Epting Jr., and I am the man, the myth, and the legend in my own mind. As Big Day says on his show, this sixth show, we have another edition and episode of the hashtag family of baseball podcast, Extra Frames podcast, where you can go to iTunes as well as Spotify and Google Podcasts to check it out. It's also available on YouTube and my Facebook page. Thank you guys out there for rocking with us live as we are streaming this once again. And look, if you look at the banner and all you guys out there watching, you can actually text into the show with your comments. Just state where you're from, state your case, and we will shout you out while we on the air. And speaking of on the air, Natalie Turk is a little bit twisted up right now because of some news that came out, or if you haven't seen it, we're going to talk about it here in just a second. Mike and I, Cleveland Indians, Josh Naylor, the outfielder. Oh my gosh. So we're going to get into that. Then, of course, we're going to talk about the states of our teams, him being the New York Mets, me being the Oakland A's. And if Nat's able to get in, then she'll talk about, of course, the Cleveland Indians. So we are ready to go, man. So just in case y'all haven't heard, we're doing it big. And doing it big, we always start with this. Bob, you already know what it is when you hear that music. It is something special, and we are live, loud, and in color on a Sunday. I'm going to bring in the brother, the hashtag brother of the family, of the hashtag family of baseball, Big Rican Sports owner, CEO, creator, do everything, New York Mets fan, hashtag LGM, Mike Martinez. There he is. He's got a co-host with him. What's up, Mike?
Not much. Yeah, he's it's bottle time, so he's he likes to chomp at the bit, but he is doing absolutely great, man. He's getting bigger by the day, and Mama and I are so mad he's growing like a weed. It's so bad. He's okay, I promise.
Yeah, and we don't mind it at all because when I say the hashtag family of baseball, that includes you and yours, and age is not a requirement or restriction for that matter. So he's already a Mets fan, right?
Exactly. Now, I got to tell you two things. First of all, yesterday I found it very funny that when I changed his diaper during the game and he peed all over his Let's Go Mets onesie, they started hitting. So I don't know if I have to make that a part of an everyday routine now or if this was just coincidence. But today, I had done the feedings last night, so I fell asleep this afternoon during the game, which thank God. And my wife took a picture. Perfect circle change grip, just laying against his mama.
That's why we are ladies and gentlemen. And you know what? You can comment or you can text the show 469-358-5241 with your name and where you're from. And you can actually, we're going to ask you a question. Should Mike formulate a way in which the little bambino can pee when the Mets are playing so they can start hitting? That's our question to you guys. So you got anything else, Mike, on that?
I found it hilarious. It happened and they were down 2-1 and all of a sudden they tie the game and I'm going, we may be onto something here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we might need to get in touch with the New York Mets media relations department and let them in on what's going on with that. What do you think?
Or at least the lineup.
Somebody. Yeah, that's amazing. All right, man. Speaking of said Mets, as I said in the pre-show meeting, your Mets once again are the best team playing here as of late between myself or my team, the A's, and Nat's team, the Indians. So tell us or tell everybody out there that's listening and watching, how excited have you been about this past week?
Listen, I've been really excited because when you have, the National League East is not what it usually is this year. Everybody is down. The Mets are the only team over 500. But when you go into 8 games in 7 days, 4 with Atlanta, 4 with Philadelphia, and you come out splitting 2 4-game series, I will take it. Especially when they're not hitting, because they're not. But I will say this. The pitching has been great. I mean, Jared Eichhoff came up as an emergency starter. He's pitching tomorrow against the Washington because he was so good against Atlanta. Stroman was okay today. He wasn't great, but he was okay. Taijuan Walker's been great. David Peterson has finally come out of his funk, and he's pitched great his last couple of starts. And then all of a sudden, Jacob deGrom was human yesterday. I mean, human to 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 6 strikeouts, 2 walks. I mean, that's a normal day or a good day for a lot of pitchers. I mean, unfortunately, because of the 2 runs, his earned run average ballooned to 0.69 from 0.50. It is the second lowest earned run average in baseball history through 13 starts since ERA became a stat in the early aughts. I'm sorry, 1914 was the year they started doing that. So you're talking 107 years. This dude is on pace to just obliterate some records. And the Mets have figured out how to get him to start the All-Star game. Because if he is able to pitch and he doesn't start the All-Star game, who's the managers? Roberts and the guy from Tampa, right?
Yeah, Kevin Cash.
Yeah, Dave Roberts ought to be slapped.
Well, he probably should have been slapped well before now, before some other.
Listen, if you think Yankee fans hate him for stealing that base in 2004, if he doesn't start DeGrom in the All-Star game, he'll have both sides of Queens hating him.
Yeah. And you know what? J-Rod Sports debated discussions. Appreciate you chiming in, big homie. He says, any chance we can talk about the ridiculous checking pictures every inning for Sicky Stubsons? Yeah, we're actually going to get into that, J-Rod, so stay tuned. If you want to text your comment to the show, please be sure to do that. We will get you read on the air, or if you want to comment right here, that's fine too. But we're trying to set ourselves apart from here with some things, so it would be cool if you can text the show. All right, so and look. Stroman, he went out, not this last start, but the start before that, he had some hip issues. Is that correct? So
that's correct. And he pitched today with a heavy heart. He lost his grandmother the other day.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, prayers out to him and his family regarding that, because, a grandmother is the ultimate matriarch. And it shifts with different generations, of course. But shout out to him and his family, and prayers up for comfort and strength and all those other things that go along with complete and total healing from a heavy heart. But yeah, so let's talk about Conforto. Did he come back this past week, or is he still?
He did, and that's the one thing about the offense I like that makes me have a little bit of hope for it right now, because the Mets are getting healthy. Almora is back, Conforto is back, McNeil is back. Conforto got the game-winning hit in the game yesterday. The sacrifice fly. Still getting stuff off the bench. I mean, Billy McKinney scored the winning run. He had a big at bat in the 9th inning yesterday. Pilar hit the tying bomb to right center yesterday. He hit a one today to get him closer. Lindor's starting to come around. He's having better at bats. Yesterday he flipped me out a little bit, swinging his splitters in the dirt. But overall, he's been coming around. Alonso's hitting. He's just not hitting for power at home.
Yeah.
So there's a lot, as a Met fan, there's a lot to be angry about with the offense, but there is a lot to understand. These guys are not going to stay stone cold the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And if the pitching stays, they get hot, it's going to get ugly.
That the sister has just joined us, and we're of course talking about Natalie Turk. I'm going to bring her in right about now because she's got the latest and the greatest news on Indians outfielder Josh Naylor. So let's bring her on in here. Natalie!
Hi, guys. How are you?
Hey!
Hey, yeah.
That's better than the Cosby.
Oh my God.
Well, this is very true. Yes, it is. I, I, if I had a migraine, I had texted. I don't know if you got that. So I'd already, and I have definitely more of one after horrible news coming out of the Cleveland Twins game today, and with Josh Naylor. So it's yeah. For those who saw it, I don't know if you guys did.
Yeah, we
It
did.
was,
Yeah.
and so from not what I'm being told and know is that he's in the hospital at in Minnesota. He will not be traveling back with the team. There is, he has sustained a fracture. No word yet exactly where. And if it's above the ankle or not, if it's involving, the entire leg. But so that's that in a nutshell. But also, Ernie Clement, who he did collide with, just very young rookie. I think it's about his third appearance or whatever. He was a little banged up, but also feeling really bad for him because he was visibly shaken. Afterwards, and I'm sure feels a lot of blame. And there's not really blame in these type of situations, my opinion. I mean, both guys, just running hard for the ball, and there was some miscommunication, and unfortunately, that happened. I did hear one of the commentators reference a game in the 60s where I forget who it was with, but where they collided heads, and it was actually a skull fracture had happened. So I mean,
Oh my God.
there's a positive at least sign, aside of that, there, you don't realize the risk, I think, sometimes. I mean, we all watch these games, and, I mean, it's a horrible injury, but to think of, even if, I mean, it could even be worse, people that if they would have collided, at those speeds running. So Naylor is one of my favorites. He brings an energy and to that clubhouse, and he plays his heart out, and I'm sad right now. So I I hope that he heals quickly, and I hope that Ernie Clement also isn't scarred from this and skittish from what happened. And so just lots of things going through my mind on it right now.
So when I saw it, Natalie, excuse me, when I first saw it, it reminded me a lot of the Dak Prescott injury to his lower leg. It
Yes.
looked eerily similar to that. And then once he stopped and he came to a stationary position, his foot rather, was just kind of hanging like Dak's was. So I know they don't have really much of an indicator yet of what it could be, but that reminded me instantly of what we saw with Dak. What do you say about that, Mike?
Well, that was against the Browns, so I was watching it. So yeah, no, that's the first Dak I didn't think of. I thought of, remember Jason Kendall years ago, slide into home plate.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought of, and of course that was just scary too. But yeah, Nat, best out to Naylor for that, and the kid will be fine. He'll recover from it.
Yeah, I've been doing a series called Beyond Behind the Dream, and it's
Excellent, too.
with the rookies, coming up, and I've been learning a lot about Ernie Clement, so it's kind of just. Thanks for letting me know that. I mean, because it's just, I don't know. I'm a little emotional about it because I've gotten to know these guys a little bit more, covering them this year, and I take it kind of personally, and just really my heart's going out for both of them and the team. Right now, baseball doesn't seem even as important. our team's already suffered enough injuries, but the subject today within the organization and all of us isn't like, oh, woe is us, another injury. Right now, it is hit at a very personal level just because of what we saw. And there's a lot of negative things being said on social media, which is difficult, like that the Twins took too much time to get out there with the card and he was in pain for too long. And I don't believe in any of that. The Twins, I think, handled it the best way they could. They've been classy on social media. The organization, everyone involved has been very good surrounding what happened. So yes, the Indians do. It is true. We have a lot of injuries and we didn't need another injury, but this one is just because of the way that it happened. It's not, that's not where the conversation is right now at the clubhouse.
So Nat, I heard you say in the beginning that a fractured skull.
Oh no, I was talking about, sorry. So let me, in case I didn't get that out right. In the so some of our commentators with Valley Sports were saying that in the 60s there were two players that had collided and one had fractured their skull. So they were just trying to give not really like a positive spin, but just saying how serious it can be when you're going at that speed and you collide. And that, this injury was at least in that lower body. Like, I mean, you could literally, die. You don't have a helmet on like football or whatever, and you're running at that speed. So yeah, sorry, I kind of, talked quickly through that, but that was one of the first things that they had brought up. And I wasn't familiar with the two players involved in that back in the 60s, but it's just something to make you think, or me for sure. I watch these games all the time, and I mean, we see injuries, but when you see those types, and I did think of Dak too in that one, or what you said, Mike. So when you see those types, that just really scare you for a minute, make you just think about the person instead of just what it's going to do to your ball club or whatever, and wondering when he'll be back, and all, none of that's going through anyone's mind. Naylor is very well loved here, as they all are, but he's he's so special with that personality that it's really tough. Like I said, so I don't have a lot besides, like I said, I know he's at the hospital. Obviously, I'm assuming, I mean, I know he's not traveling back with the team. I don't know how long he'll be there. I don't know surgery and type of those things. I'm sure we'll hear more tomorrow. For the media, the Tribe will be home tomorrow to face Detroit. So,
well, again, we led off with our thoughts and heartfelt prayers for him to make a speedy recovery, because you never know. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Alex Smith and his 17 surgeries. Not saying that we think that he's gonna end up with that, but how sometimes the unimaginable and certainly the unexpected can come in with possible infections, and that's what I was thinking about in terms of his health. Not really the injury stuff that's going to prevent him from playing baseball for a while. That's obvious, but my mind went to, oh God, I hope no infection sets in on this, where he'll end up having to fight for his leg, like Joe Theismann did, and of course Alex Smith and so many others that had an injury kind of like that. So. Well, man, that's certainly something that was not expected to be discussed. But shout out to you. Shout out to you, sis, for that frontline information.
Yes. I wish I had better news and we could do our normal Nats chat. I could talk about the things, but it's not much on this end. So
okay, and we understand that you have another possible meeting to get to. So if you need to go ahead and sign off now, that's good. Me and Mike will take it from here. We were talking about his Mets, but we hadn't got to my age yet, so it's all good.
Well, at least for once, I'll make it lighthearted humor. I won't take up the whole time talking through your guys' times to talk about your teams, because normally it's just me jabbering through about the Indians for most of it. So, but I was glad that, yeah, I do have to get on the an SI call right after this. So I was like, but I still wanted to jump on and at least just say the little bit I could about Naylor, and I'll always, keep it posted as we all know more. But thanks for at least sending good wishes this way, and I hope he does well, and we get good news in the next few days. So,
All right. Well,
all right, guys.
We will talk to you again soon, Nat. And
see you, Nat.
Real quick, I want you to tell everybody around the world and people that are watching about your segments that you're doing with the young players. How can they catch that?
Yeah, thank you so much. So I'll be putting them on my Twitter at Nat Sports Chat, but they're on Sports Illustrated, and I have started a series. I'll be on my third one right now because the Indians do have the youngest team in baseball. I thought about wanting to showcase taking each. I'm doing at least one a week. I might be able to do two a week. Where I'm doing what I call the move. So that's their move up and then the journey of how they got there. And it has been so well received, and people just so enjoy to learn about. I've had host families from like AAA from, or even like Mahoning Valley Scrappers, which is up here. I don't know if you're familiar with that area, Mike, but so I've had host
Yes, I am.
Yeah, so host families that had these. One of Ernie Clement's host families even had contacted me. So I'm getting so much. I've had sixth grade teachers who played catch, with some of these guys when they were in sixth grade. So the story and the journey to the big leagues has really opened up a whole new world of writing for me, and then a really great story for the Indians just because they have so many young players. So you can find it on Sports Illustrated at least once, hopefully twice a week, and I'll always share them on my Twitter.
All right, there you go.
All right, thanks for that, Willie.
All right, Natalie, no problem. We'll talk to you again real soon. All right.
All right, guys. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
Bye, Nat.
So let's react to that real quickly, because she's obviously an insider with the Sports Illustrated, with the Indians, and I'm sure that or everything that she says about getting to know these young kids and chronicling their journey, it really does ring near and dear and very close to her heart, and you can hear the emotion in her voice as she talked about it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I got to tell you, when I watched it, I didn't think of the collision. I thought of was Mike Cameron and Carlos Beltran back in 2005 in San Diego as a Met fan. And I mean, there was one in the 80s, Dykstra and Mookie Wilson went face to face, but the Cameron and Beltran one was much like this one. Two center fielders going for the ball and face to face, and it got scary. I mean, Mike Cameron was down. His season was over when that happened. So, speedy recovery to him. And yeah, listen, in my opinion, and I hope she watches this and hears this, you cannot be a good beat writer, and you cannot be someone who covers a single team without getting to know those guys and getting emotionally invested.
Yeah.
And especially her being an Indians fan, her stuff is awesome.
Yeah.
And I love that she gets so invested.
Yep, and that is what it takes. All right, so let's go back to the Mets. Hold on, before we go back to the Mets, I'm sorry, Mike. Here we go.
Mike, telephone, Mike. Right now, hold on, please. Hold on. He just got out of the John. Hold on. Talk to her now. If you don't talk to her now, she's gonna walk.
Captain, I can't be no Mike, man. Hello. It's Mike.
This is Mike. This is Mike. Hashtag Mike's Mike, man. So let's get back to the Mets on that. You were talking about them not hitting forever.
Yeah, no, this lineup is too good to not catch fire. The only thing I can hope is that the pitching stays consistent. I think with the performances we've seen so far, especially at a Taijuan Walker, because let me tell you something. You saw him in the American League West.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a little bit of him with Toronto last year. I wasn't very not high on him is not the word, but I wasn't knowledgeable of him. This dude's off the charts. This dude is good.
Yeah.
And when they picked him off the scrap heap in February, and he's their number 3.
It's amazing how a change of scenery, man, can really inject some life and enthusiasm into a player. So when you
Agreed.
say, the scrap heap is just that. All right, so I know you want to talk a little bit about Joe Girardi. You got me coughing. Go ahead and take it over, man, because I can't stop.
All right. Did you see what I commented with Natalie on there?
I don't remember.
I called Joe Girardi a certain part of the anatomy that we call people who we don't like, and not a single person told me I was wrong.
Right.
Look, gamesmanship aside, what he did, if I was Scherzer, I would have fought him. But it's going to get one of his players hurt. Because unfortunately, there are still some bulldog pitchers in this game.
He's one of them.
And he's one of them. You got a $350 million right fielder who's going to wear one in the ribs if you're not careful.
Mm-hmm.
And there are dudes who throw 100 miles an hour on the regular. Listen, what he did, I'm all for gamesmanship. I laughed when they grabbed Albert Bell's bat back in the 90s and he did the whole flexing thing looking at him. I laughed when they take a guy's glove or they say you're not wearing the right shirt. That's hysterical stuff. What he was doing every inning, I would have, no, someone's wearing one.
Yeah.
Because that's just ridiculous. And then to come out and want to fight the guy, dude, Girardi, I don't care how good of a catcher you thought you were when you played for the Cubs and the Yankees. Max Scherzer would have taken you out pretty hard. But he's going to get one of his boys hurt, and that's I don't like saying that, and I'm not the type of person who thinks that people should do that. But if you got one retaliatory thing, and it's just a manager that's doing it, he's putting his guys in harm's way.
Yeah, and my thing was, why are you because Girardi is in management. He is the manager. And Scherzer is a player. Not to say that he won't be a manager or whatever he pursues one day. He is a leader. We know that too, because he's a leader of that rotation. But why are you, for the lack of a better term or phrase, bringing yourself down to a player level because of what you think? You need to be worried about your team and why you are underachieving as a unit and have been for the entire season, with all those potential all-stars that you have in your lineup and that you're putting out there on the diamond every other day or every day or whatever the case may be. And Bryce Harper, dude, where are you? There's an APB out on this dude, Mike, because I don't know if you saw, but he is like 7th or 8th in the all-star balloting.
Never mind that. He's got 11 bombs and 21 RBIs. But I have the word on why the Phillies are underachieving, and it's very simple. It's 7 letters. It is the thing that snake bit my Mets 2 years ago, and that is bullpen. He stripped Hector Neris of the closer's role and then gave it back to him the same day. The Philadelphia Phillies have consistently not upgraded their bullpen every year. They have gotten less than stellar results out of it, and yet they keep running the same guys out every single day.
And something else too, Mike, that I want to kind of share with that too, is because I saw them in a series against the Braves a couple weeks ago, and the Braves bullpen is sorry, and they're going to get sorrier because we're going to talk about something else real quick that involves them, and it's in your division. But it was a back and forth type of blindfold. Whose bullpen are we waiting to fail the first? And so. And they're gonna be on the outside looking in again after 3 straight years of being in it until September. They're gonna be on the outside looking in again, in my opinion.
Well, I agree with you. When I did my picks, obviously Philadelphia was nowhere near the top of that division. But the thing that kills me about them is they have blown 20 saves already this year. We're not to the All-Star break.
That's crazy.
As as a callback. In 2019, the Mets won 87 or 88 games. The bullpen blew 27 in a full season. 10 of them, the Nationals don't make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
The world champion doesn't make the playoffs. So if Philadelphia is going to be a contender, because Zach Wheeler was nasty today. God, I miss him.
Yeah.
Listen, Eflin was good yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
They've Matt Moore has resurrected his career in Philadelphia in that bandbox of all places. They have the starting rotation. They refuse to fix the bullpen.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's we just don't think it's a big deal because we're going to out-hit everybody. Well, when you have the three of the best pitchers in baseball in your division, you're not going to out-hit everybody every day.
Nope. And I think
they've got to fix the bullpen.
And I do believe that their bullpen is, their lineup is at least one of the top 10 in the National League. But if you can't,
I'd put them top 5.
Yeah.
Honestly, they are the best catcher in the game
in
Real Muto. They have arguably the best right fielder in Bryce Harper. They have Rhys Hoskins, who's an offensive juggernaut. They got that Bohm kid at third base, who's outstanding. Their middle infielder, Gregorius and Gene Segura. I mean, you can tell I'm a National League East guy. But their middle infield may be the best offensive middle infield this side of Lindor and McNeil once they get going.
Yeah. And you have McCutchen in left field who is going to win. Well, I'm not going to say he's going to, but he's going to figure in prominently for comeback player of the year. Now,
agreed.
I'm thinking that's going to go to Mancini, like Nat said in the preview show way back in whenever it was. But
unless Ohtani gets it.
So, but the point is that he's producing well enough for that squad. And after an ACL injury. All right. So what I wanted to ask you or talk to you about as well, because I tweeted this at Shakeback Media Group. I believe it was Thursday of last week. Mike Soroka sustained he actually retore his Achilles. So he's going to be out for another year.
Did you hear how it happened?
I didn't hear how it happened. No.
All right. So he had a setback and they put him in a boot.
Yeah.
He was walking into the clubhouse. Walking. He took steps like you and I do every day, and it snapped. Because apparently he had the surgery. The sutures were supposed to dissolve. They didn't do it. He had to go back in to remove the sutures, and then he had the setback when he was rehabbing. I mean, this is sad. I love watching Soroka go.
Yeah,
he's so good.
He is a dog.
Good.
Yeah, he's a dog.
He heard it against the Mets.
Yeah, and you know, I wasn't saying that when I tweeted it, I wasn't saying it to disparage the Braves. No. I actually like the Braves. I mean, they're not my team, but I like what they have in Acuna Jr. and Freeman and all the rest of those boys. But man, because their issue has been pitching for the last, I don't know, it seems like since Smokes and Avery and Maddox and Glavine and all those guys were on the hill. But that is a primary illustration as to why you can't rely on offense and to win games 10-9, 14-11.
Agreed. And first of all, let me ask you one question. Did you ever think you'd say the Atlanta Braves Achilles heel? Bad term. I'm sorry. Would be their pitching? The Atlanta Braves.
I mean, for this generation, I can't say that I'm not surprised.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Yeah, because this Braves this baseball ain't the old baseball from those days anyway. Although pitching is a little bit more dominant. We're going to get to the sticky stuff here in just a second because I want to round that out with the comment that we got from J-Rod's Sports and Debate. So, or Sports Debate and Discussion. So, but yeah, this baseball is not. This baseball ain't even the same baseball that it was 5 years ago, let alone 20 years ago when pitching really did rule the day. So, all right. So speaking of the sticky stuff, J-Rod's Sports Debate and Discussions. We had our first victim on today. First person.
Did we?
Yeah.
No.
Yes, we did.
When I tell you I fell asleep in the first inning and woke up in the 8th, I'm not lying to you.
You know what? We got home from church today, and I had a meeting at 3:00, and I'm in my room watching the game like this. And it's not because of the game, ladies and gentlemen. And for people out there saying baseball is boring, it wasn't because of that. It's because I was very, very sleepy and tired. It's been a long weekend, yada, yada, yada. So let's get into this. Seattle Mariners pitcher Hector Santiago becomes first pitcher ejected for failing the sticky substance check. They checked his glove in the fifth inning, presumably found something that shouldn't have been there. And while Santiago's frowny face reaction is pretty great, the best part of the video of the bagging of the suspicious glove, they put the suspicious glove in a bag.
Oh, no. They put the suspicious glove in the bag, and somebody put it to the Bad Boys song.
Oh, my gosh. So whatever.
Speaking of the movie, they put it to the Cops theme.
Yeah. So J-Rod, sports debate and discussions. First of all, thank you for the comment. We appreciate it. Make sure you go follow us on Twitter, at Shakeback Media Group, and also at Big Rican Sports. Big Rican Sports. Follow us both on Twitter, man, and we would appreciate that. We got you shouted out with your question and your concern. Let's round this thing off talking about my Oakland A's. And I'm just going to say this. The strongest part of the A's team has been the staff, the pitching staff, as well as
agreed.
Now I'm a little PO'd at the A's because of who they have allowed to let go into free agency. And of course that is Liam Hendricks, who was the closer of the year in 2020. And then it was I can't think of his name. He's with the Dodgers now. Oh my gosh, I can't think of his name, but it'll come to me hopefully before the end of the show. So when you go to New York, and your nemesis really, and the thorn in your side, you jump out, you win game 1. You lose game 2 because of the bullpen. You lose game 3 because of the bullpen. That's not making me happy. That's not making me happy whatsoever. So then you get a chance to get right. Shout out to my boy Jose Trevino, catcher of the Texas Rangers. You know you my boy, and you are my favorite player, except for when y'all play the A's. I had to look, Mike. I told him that. He's been on the show 3 times. I told him, I said, dude, you are my favorite player. Except
I voted for him, by the way.
Huh?
I voted for him, by the way.
Yeah, well, he didn't quite make the cut. There's only three finalists. So, but anyway, back to the A. So you come here to Arlington, and you have a 4-game set against a team that you're suspected or expected rather to get right with. Somehow, a 4-game split does not feel good against a team that is obviously rebuilding. They've got a lot of young talent. Chris Woodward is doing a tremendous job. He had them playing very, very well at the beginning of the year. They just kind of been up and down. But a split against a team of that magnitude or lack thereof is not a win in my book. If it's a split against the Astros, cool. If it's a split against the Giants, cool. But it didn't happen. So, speaking of Giants, same thing. Friday night's game, lose 2-0. Saturday night, a walk-off single, you lose by a run. But
can I interrupt you for a second?
Go ahead.
Did Wilmer Flores get the walk-off hit?
I don't think it was him.
That would just be poetic justice the way he does it.
Yeah, well, he's one of the top 3 all-star consideration people for his position. So
really good for Wilmer.
Yeah. So the A's actually did salvage the final game of the season or of the series. And look, Cole Irvin pitched a heck of a game. I thought Bob was going to let him get the complete game, but he ended up pulling him in the 9th or in the 8th. So now we get next week, very earlier in the week. I want to say it starts tomorrow. Texas is coming to Oakland, so maybe we can get a 3-game sweep there. We'll see. Any excuse me, any final thoughts, Mike?
Look, Houston's been the hottest team in the game, and you guys are only 2 games out. You're playing pretty good baseball. Is the pitcher you're thinking of Blake Trinan?
Yes, that is who it is, Blake Trinan.
I was looking at the Dodgers roster on my phone. I didn't pull that out of my head. Listen, your boys are going to be there till the end, and Billy Beane is going to be a buyer at the trade deadline. Watch.
Well, that is necessary. And speaking of the Astros, they did drop 2 out of 3 to the Tigers over the weekend. So that's
Detroit's one of those sneaky teams that beats the good teams and can't play anybody else.
Yeah. Ask Cleveland, the first season of the year.
And can I just say, Sergio Romo was entirely entertaining when he got checked. I thought he was going to drop full trout, take his whole uniform off. I mean,
it's like they want to do a full cavity search.
I'm just waiting for the glove, man. I'm just waiting for the glove.
Yeah. Oh my God. So it might come to that. Well, no, let's hope not. All right, man. Let's get out of here, man. For Mike Martinez, man. This is Willie Epting Jr., man. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us for an hour or so. Hopefully, we provided some good energy and some comic relief. Shouts out and prayers up to Josh Naylor once again, man. When he comes out with full recovery. So we gonna get on about here, man. Y'all stay safe. Y'all take care of each other. Y'all love each other. We'll holler at y'all again real soon. Peace. We out.